Hey guys, this is Zyra from the Willow Tree Schoolhouse and welcome to my channel. Surprisingly, this was a highly requested video. A lot of you guys wanted to see the behind the scenes of me getting ready and how I prep my morning timetable the day before, and so I decided to make today's video all about that. Also, I am happy to announce that my routine that I have happening right now in our homeschool and in our home life is actually accurate. We have been thriving really well with this new schedule that we have set in place for ourselves. So what you're seeing right now, it's actually what occurs in our everyday life. I try to make it into a habit of having me wake up earlier than the kids. I typically wake up between 6 and 6:30 a.m. and the first thing that I do in my mornings is brew coffee. Once my coffee is brewing, then I go ahead and take a shower. And on this specific day, it was actually a hair wash day. Once I brush my hair and scrunch it up with leave-in conditioner, I then go ahead and grab myself a fresh hot cup of coffee. Once I had a few sips of my hot cup of coffee, then I go ahead and start putting my face on. I was a little bit hesitant in sharing this part of my day with y'all just because I know you guys wanted to see my step-by-step process. So here's the thing, you don't need to wear makeup every day. I just like doing it just because it makes me feel good about myself, it gives me energy, and it just boosts up my confidence. And listen, this is completely unnecessary. You don't need to do this. I have been in the seasons of motherhood where I barely had time to sip coffee, or in fact, I had to sip cold coffee. So adding makeup to my day just seemed daunting and completely exhausting. And I do want to preface that my makeup routine takes about 15 minutes, and that includes my cleanser, moisturizer, my foundation, my several steps of concealer, and my baking process, plus my eyebrows, eyeshadows, eyeliner, and my lashes. And not to mention my highlighter as well that you see me doing right now. I have to shine bright, you guys. After I'm done with my makeup, I then go ahead and move on to my hair again. I then go ahead and start implementing my oil to my hair, and that is just to keep it anti-frizz and hydrated. I have no idea why I was so serious. And just a friendly reminder to not forget to flip your head around and begin scrunching it in that way just to separate your hair from your roots, and it can add extra volume to your hair. Okay guys, and I am now dressed. This whole process probably took around 20 to 25 minutes, and that's with my hair, my makeup, and now getting dressed. And I will say that it took me much longer to put my earrings on just because I couldn't figure it out how to properly put them on. Okay y'all, and after getting myself dressed and ready for the day, here I am now getting breakfast started and lunches. Okay y'all, so this is the power of multitasking. I'm literally working on 4 different breakfast meals plus different lunches for myself, for Steve, and for my kids. Okay, so for Steve and I, we actually eat poached eggs with sauerkraut on some mornings, and on this day, that's what we're eating. Sauerkraut is amazing for your gut health, and I just love starting my day with something that's just going to replenish my gut. I love implementing fruit as our side dish, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm cutting up some strawberries, and actually my Millie is coming to tell me that she is wanting a fruit bowl, and I am already working on that. And as I have the eggs going on the pan and some boiled water for Aiden's oatmeal, I am also working on making lunch. On this day, I made the kids peanut butter sandwich. They hate the jelly part. I added a few Oreos, some fruit on the side, and some baby carrots. Adding lunch boxes into our routine has been a game changer as well. The kids can go ahead and grab it whenever they're beginning to get hungry. It avoids interruptions throughout our homeschool lessons just because I don't have to drop everything just to make the kids food when they can go ahead and just grab their lunch boxes. And for lunch for Steve and I just made us some veggie skillet with a little bit of grass-fed ground beef and a paleo-friendly homemade sauce that had ketchup, coconut aminos, and honey. This whole process probably took a good solid 30 minutes. When I had stopped recording, I only used up 23 minutes to make this video. Okay, y'all, so here is the part where I talk about my kitchen. Remodeling your home is no joke. Not only are you relying on other people and their schedules, but because of what's happening in the world, there has been so many delays, and I would hate for me to not have a functioning kitchen because shipments haven't been able to arrive or workers don't want to come and work that day. This is the only room in the entire house that needs to be remodeled, and I keep delaying it. I keep pushing it off just because I just don't want to deal with the chaos. Steve owns a construction company as well, and so we have reliable crew members. It's just that I just cannot deal with the companies and their delays and all of the shipments for hardware, countertops, and cabinetry. A friend of mine who just completed renovating their kitchen actually said that her kitchen took way longer than it was supposed to. I guess with all of the delays, it took about 2 months more than what she was quoted on, and I just cannot do that, you guys. I cannot commit to that. So here's to normalizing normal kitchens, y'all. Listen. Do not judge me, but these poached eggs are actually quite tasty, and if you add Frank's Red Hot, ooh, you're gonna fall in love, trust me. Okay, so moving on, after we all ate breakfast, here I am about to do my Millie's hair, and these are the products that I'm going to use for this day. So my Millie actually has curly hair as well, but her texture is a bit different than mine. Mine is very coarsey and it can dry easily. Hers is not. Hers is soft to the touch, oily, and thin. And so I have to approach her hair differently than how I do my hair, but I also do not wash her hair every single day, and on this day we didn't do that. I actually gave her a bath the night before, and it was hair wash day for her. And soon after washing her hair, not only did I brush it, but I also braided it for her to go to bed like that, and so we can avoid potential knots and frizz the next day, and which is why I'm able to easily brush her hair and not hurt her in the process. And this probably took about 5 minutes, and that includes brushing it, putting it in a ponytail, adding the necessary products, and adding her cute little bow. Okay guys, so it is awfully quiet and dark in this room. Aiden's clothes are all laid out over there for him to know that he's got to get himself dressed in the morning. But these are actually our bedtime read-alouds that I read last night. I knew that we were going to have a busy week, and so I tackled science last night. I read to them, so that was really interesting. I do have to finish the chapter before we can even continue with like the worksheets and the arts and crafts. So we're gonna finish that up tonight. This is our read aloud for The Kind Kingdom, and we're halfway there. I'm actually surprised at how much we've been getting done because we've literally been reading a chapter a day. And this is going to be this month's read aloud. So I'm blown away. And the kids seem to be very interested in it. And then I have them pick out each a picture book from our library stack. And so Millie picked Look. And then Aiden picked out this book, which was really fun. We were guessing which foot it was for like each animal. And so that was very interesting. There were some that I was just like blown away by their guesses because I think one of my kids, I forgot who, had said this was a chicken and ended up not being a chicken. And then Aiden was like, oh, this is a hand from a human. Yeah, no. That was like a hand from a chimpanzee. And so that kind of took a little bit of a turn. In some of these as well, he was like kind of grossed out, but at the same time just like interested. So okay, so continuing on, Millie's going to be working on Play-Doh, remembering the letter F sound. I have no idea why she did this, so I gotta fix that. This is her morning menu, which I still have to clear out. And then, again, this is like our read aloud bedtime. We are doing Spanish today. So on Mondays are usually our jam-packed morning time days because I like to include a read aloud from our Spanish weekly readings. And then, so this week is Oso Pardo, brown bear, poetry. And then we're just gonna talk about it, sing a song together. And then I'm also doing Ambleside Online history reading. So today we're gonna be tackling child's history of the world. And the reason why I started off with this book, it's because Aiden's been kind of intrigued by the stories in here. And so I thought, why not start it off, like set a tone for the rest of the week. And then here's our daily devotional that my kids just adore completely. And then this is a read aloud, a picture book read aloud for history. This is what the Kind Kingdom recommended, and so I'm just adding it on. So I'm really excited, especially because Aiden enjoyed when I read the St. George the Dragon. Okay, so I had to grab the book for you guys to see it. So it's the same author, and Aiden enjoyed this read aloud. I had to expand it in a few days because it's kind of a long read. But not only that, we had to take the time to look at all of like the beautiful illustrations. So I know this may take a little bit of a week for us, probably a week for us to read. Just like look at that. Towards the end, he just grabbed it and held it to his chest and said, I love this book. So that's a goal, right? That's a goal when you read to them. It's for them to fall in love with the literature. So here is the kitchen line. I have not pre-read this book. Considering how the first book went, I am not going to. I think this will be a good read aloud. But if there's anything that just needs to be talked about, we can go ahead and spend the time. If there's like any concept he wants to like spend a little bit of time in it. And I'm okay with introducing fights like this to my kids. Aiden's in ninja class and karate class, so he's all about that. I'm just skipping a few pages. And it's funny because he actually likes like the love like tale that's in part of the books. Normally he's like, ugh, love. But here it's like a sense of justice, and then the hero gets the girl, and he just like loves listening to that. So I just find it amusing. So here's my planner, and I also have my pre-reading notes and questions down here. Here's Aiden, morning menu, and then here is our copy work that we forgot to complete last week. So I'm just gonna have him do it this week. And then I have a fun little activity for him. It's like the Target Dollar Spot puzzle. We are going to be working on geography for the US eventually, but this is just a great way to introduce it. He has been asking which state everything is, so I know the interest is there and I want to take advantage of that. So it's just a matter of finding the time to do it. If we don't have the time during our regular school sessions, I am okay with extending it before bedtime and just like having fun picture books. You don't always have to include a full-on curriculum and unit studies. You can just do activities like this and just incorporate picture books. And I do have his sketchbook underneath here. He has been enjoying doodling and drawing, and so I always try to incorporate sketchbooks on our morning timetable for the kids. And after a day full of lessons, this is how you know your day was successful. When your homeschool table looks like this, lots and lots of learning had occurred. Okay, and now moving on, I am going to show you guys how I prep my table for morning time and how I get all of my subjects ready. First things first, I try to clear off the table from materials that we've already used and just leave materials that we are planning on using. Okay, so as I am reviewing for tomorrow's lesson for All About Reading Level 2 for my oldest, who's my second grader, I'm noticing that this lesson, we may have to break it down into 2 lessons just because it's typically a long one. So not only are you reviewing, you're playing a game, you're learning a new concept, and you're doing the sight words. Here's a game, and then the fluency sheet. So that is just letting me know that it's going to be a long one, and I don't want to overwhelm him or take away that love for reading. And so I do have my timer over here. Typically what I do is I set it for 20 minutes, and whatever we don't get done, we'll continue on the next day. Okay, and here's my reasoning behind this process and why I will always vouch for this. Not only does planning take away that burden of not knowing what we have the next day, but also it prevents you from feeling overwhelmed. This process also allows me to see concepts that need to be mastered or any lessons that we need to implement more time on before moving on. Since implementing this process into our homeschool, I have better time management skills just because I know what days works really well for what subjects and what days do not. Here I am working on Aiden subjects, and now I am moving on to organizing my subjects for Millie. As I am gathering materials, I am also slowly organizing our morning timetable. It's almost like an open invitation to what we're going to learn the next day. My kids love exploring the table after I have set it up, and it just gets them more excited for the next day. So here's why I'll always advocate for homeschooling. I have recently noticed that my Millie needs practice in handwriting. Her pencil gripping is down to a T, but she cannot for some reason master handwriting or writing her letters on her own, and so this is why I implemented this program into her notebook. Okay, just to show you guys what I'm doing, I have this curriculum. It's called Fine Motor Journals. I'll link it below for you guys so you guys can see, but it gives me ideas on what to do for my Millie. We have been needing a little bit more practice with handwriting and just writing out her letters, and so I've been taking ideas from this curriculum and just adding it, implementing to her journal. This has helped so much. I mean, look at what we did for B. She wrote her B's on her own. She did her A's. Like, look at that. That is amazing. And then it's been giving me, like, all of these ideas have been from that curriculum for her. And the goal is for her to write her name on her own. She still needs, like, guidance. But that's what I'm working on with her, and that's why I always encourage, start with a notebook. You don't necessarily need to purchase note prep packs. These are just so helpful because you get to cater it to your child's needs. So right now I have like the letter C prepped, where we're gonna practice writing letters, and then she's gonna practice drawing some peppers, and I'm gonna have her just use markers for that. And that just came straight from this right over here. It's from the pocket of Preschool. So now that I completed planning their lessons for their core subjects for the next day, here I am setting their morning timetable with their morning time items. And I will show you what's all on my table in just a moment. I am possibly planning on releasing a 6-week recap of how our homeschooling journey has been thus far. Personally, I think these videos are just as important as sharing curriculum pics, just so y'all can see what has successfully been working in our homeschool and what has not. Okay, y'all, I hope this video is inspiring you guys to stay organized and plan that table up. You guys plan your lessons ahead of time. Do not be afraid to invest 20 minutes a night in planning your next day's lessons just to be ahead of the game. Do not wait for that same day to do your planning. That is a recipe for disaster, trust me. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and go around the table and show you guys what I have laid down. You guys are gonna see that it's really wasn't all that complicated. I tend to move around a lot because once I sit down, it's just really hard for me to get up. I think that's like a typical mom thing. You are going to hear Ari in the background. She is currently right here in front of me in her little walker, and she thinks that I'm talking to her. So you're probably gonna hear in the background, I apologize. But you know what? This is like a typical mom life homeschool video, right? Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and go around here, and I'm gonna try this to make it really quick because my battery's about to die. So typically for my Millie, I just have activities of concepts that we need to work on. So for example, scissor cutting skills. This is from the Moffat Girls. I'm not sure what curriculum this came from. I'm not sure if it's from the phonemic awareness or the ABC bundle, but this is what I'm gonna have her work on. And then for our science, again, I don't expect her to fill this out. She typically just colors the chicken, calls it a day, and I still save it because she's at that age where I want to save everything, you know. So this is her morning menu. I recently kind of changed the insert for her to cater it to more like her needs. So I do have the Pledge of Allegiance. That's something that we're both working on for recitation. Name tracing practice, and then this came from the A Year of Tales preschool. So we are working on handwriting. Now here is a glimpse of what I have laid out for us to read while the kids work on their activities. So before I go ahead and touch on this, let's go around and I'll show you guys what Aiden has. So first things first, he's going to be working on his handwriting. Okay, so typically Aiden will go ahead and complete our copy work. So this is going to be our copy work for the day. Here is his morning menu, and I just have him do the calendar and calendar talk. That's all he has to fill in. This is available for free. I created this. I'll go ahead and link my Instagram account so you guys can go ahead and check it out. It's the link is in my bio. And then this is what we're going to be working on for recitation for him and I. And then I always include a sketch pad for them to doodle on. Sorry guys, my hair's here. And then for draw right now, since we're working on a chicken, I'm just gonna have him draw this chicken. And then if he wants to copy a sentence or two down here, and then we'll fill this out together. Now, while they're doing that, typically they don't need my guidance. I go ahead and these are the literature picks that I have out for us to read. I did have to pause the video so I could open up my planner so you guys could see my layout. This is our morning time schedule. So our morning menu, our devotional, which is down here. I like to include that in our morning time. Poetry, which is Ambleside Online's poetry, and then Todo es Canción from our Spanish curriculum. Our picture study, which is right over here. And recitation, which is like for both of them, it's the Pledge of Allegiance, and then copy work. And then while they're doing all of that, what the activities that I have laid out, this is where I continue to read. So I do an island story. The kitchen night, I do like a few pages. Aiden's been enjoying this read a lot. This was recommended from the Kind Kingdom. Now, this is for our Spanish curriculum. This is where we practice our song for the week. So we are currently doing week 2 just because we are going deeper into some of the concepts. So they're actually singing along some of the words, which I find I'm just surprised by how much my kids are retaining from this curriculum. So that's our song. Our weekly read, I did read this morning, but I want my kids to memorize the colors, so we're going to continue reading that. And that's about it. Those are all our reads. So as you guys can see, I am not only tackling handwriting and copy work, but I'm also doing science and history with a little bit of phonics and reading practice. So that's what I do for my morning time. I try to tackle family subjects all in one sitting. Now Ari does join us right over here, and we like to include like toys for her while we read, and Aiden does a really great job while doing his copy work. He likes to entertain her, so that's been really fun to see that, like their little connection. But other than that, that's about it. And I do want to go ahead and go over my planning. So I used to plan from behind, not anymore. I really do need to see my weekly layout. I do have my weekly layout up here in my dashboard, but it's really nice to see it down here as well. And whatever I do complete, I go back and I highlight it, so when I'm planning the next day, I can visually see what we actually got done. And if we didn't, for example, grammar and building, I forgot to highlight that, we did get that done. But like whatever we did get done, I can see it, and then I can go ahead and go back and see what we didn't get done, and I can add it to the next day. For example, I know there was this, like our notebook pages, we did not get that done, so that was included the next day. And I don't feel bad for seeing all the crossing. Like everything that's highlighted just stands out. Now right over here is where I typically put all of our reads. So today we finished A Child's History of the World and Zoology Chapter 7. Now we're just doing the worksheets like I just showed you guys. So we are going to go ahead and finish up the kitchen night, and then these are our weekly reads that I'll try to incorporate throughout the week. Now here I add in my notes like stuff to remember, practice rhyming for my Millie, and then like just stuff, concepts that I just noticed right then and there that we need to work on, and I'll write it down so I don't forget. She's fine, by the way. She's just talking over there to Aiden. And then up here I have our meetings or like appointments or classes to remember as we continue our day. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you found this video to be at all beneficial, please like and subscribe to my channel.